So there's a very exciting fight on this weekend. If you're a hardcore boxing fan, you probably know about it. And if so, let me give you some insight into it. So, what fight am I talking about? Well, Sonny Edwards versus Galal Yafai. Before we start, if you could please like, comment, and subscribe, would really help the channel. This is a great stylistic matchup. It's very much the Bull versus the Matador. Yafai, I think, is going to come forward, which is going to make for a very exciting stylistic fight. And when someone comes on to Sonny Edwards, it often helps him fight a bit better. You know, when someone brings a fight to him, it really helps him fight back. So this is a very exciting 50-50 fight. And it's got a bit of backstory as well. So Galal Yafai obviously won a gold medal at the Olympics. And then the Olympics before that, he was chosen over Sonny Edwards. So there's a little bit of needle there. And they've both done a lot of round sparring together as well. Yafai helped out Sonny Edwards for his world title fight. And, you know, funny enough for Yafai, that was sparring just before his first professional fight as well. So, yeah, these guys have got history. There's a little bit of needle there. It should be a great domestic dust-up. So, all in all, a very exciting fight. What more is there to say? Well, it is very much the sort of, you've got a seasoned professional against, you know, someone who was a really good amateur. And I always say that the best amateur doesn't always make the best professional, just because of how different the, you know, the circumstances of amateur and professional are, right? You know, amateurs, just 3 rounds, head guards, bigger gloves. Professional, it's 12 rounds, smaller gloves, no head guards. You can take your time a bit more. You can take a few rounds to figure them out. And, you know, when you get into those, you know, you get into those dark waters, you know, those 3 rounds of amateurs aren't going to help you, you know, when you're in round 7 and you're getting beaten up. You know, your amateur record isn't going to help you then. So, yeah, for me, it's very much an intriguing fight. I look at someone like Sonny Edwards and I think when you see fighters go in against pound-for-pound stars, such as Sonny Edwards did with Bam Rodriguez, they often get a lot better after it, you know? Daniel Dubois lost to Alexander Usyk, and his next 3 fights were all tough fights, and he won them all. Gerard Miller, Hagovic, and AJ. And I'm sure having those 12 rounds against Usyk taught Dubois a lot about boxing. So, yeah, it will be very much the, well, I want to say the young, hungry lion, but I actually think because Yafai spent so long in the amateur bouts, I believe he's actually a bit older than Sonny Edwards, which is a bit crazy, but it's the young and cup in style versus the seasoned professional. Sonny Edwards has obviously taken a bit more damage in his career, got more miles on the clock, but obviously you can counteract that with more experience, a better know-how of the professional fights. Been there, done it, gone abroad and fought. And I think what I love about both these fighters is they both want all the smoke. You know, Sonny Edwards, I've heard his interviews with Eddie Hunt, he's very much like, yeah, I'll fight him. Yep, I'll fight him. He doesn't care who he fights. And it seems like it's the same with Galal, you know. He's only, I think, about 8 fights in. He's had quite a few 10-rounders, but arguably a little bit early to be sort of rolling the dice. But, you know, this is what the boxing landscape looks like now. You have to roll the dice from early, and you'll have to see it, right? This is a great fight for the fans, 50-50. As I said, the Bull versus the Matador, the amateur versus the professional. It should make for a very exciting stylistic setup. I think personally, I always make the person with the more professional experience the favourite. So I think I would make Sonny Edwards a favourite coming into this fight. But as I said, it is very 50-50. And, well, Yafai's, you know, lack of damage, lack of miles on the clock help him? Or will Sonny Edwards' know-how, ring experience help him? So, yeah, all in all, I think it is going to make for a very exciting fight. Again, this is the type of fight that it makes me happy to see that people are taking, because I think we are in this sort of boxing landscape now where you can't necessarily get to 15 or 20, you know, just fighting journeyman. Like, you've got to roll the dice from pretty early on in your career. And, you know, I think we're seeing it with, you know, we've had a bit of delay around the Adam Azim, Dalton Smith fight, you know, maybe, I don't think it's a fight, to be fair. From what I've heard, it sounds like it's the promoters. Ben Shalom's a little bit, you know, tentative to roll the dice this early on with Adam Azim. But, you know, you think of the current boxing landscape, I think that fight needs to happen, really. And, again, I just love that both fighters want all the smoke. You know, you look at someone like Tyson Fury, you know, he wasn't really, you know, he didn't have a great legacy when he was champion. He didn't necessarily always want to fight the best. He He fought Chisora for a third time. He fought Dillian White. He was decent, but not really a top competitor. He was probably top 15 at the time they fought, but he wasn't fighting someone in the top 5. And then, he fought Ngannou for what he believed would be a gimme fight, and then eventually he did fight Usyk, which of course you have to give him credit for. But he was arguably ducking Usyk into a den, and it took him a lot of money to get in the ring, and he had to postpone twice. But I don't want to give Fury, too much hate, because he did give us the Usyk fight eventually, and he did. He did okay in the Usyk fight, didn't he? It was competitive, but yeah, I mean, it kind of depends, like, who you listen to talk about it, because obviously I think a lot of people are just naturally quite biased towards their favourite fighters, so you'll hear some breakdowns where it's like, oh, Usyk was amazing, and then other, people who prefer Fury will be like, oh, Fury was good, he can win the rematch. So there was always a lot of noise around that first fight, but all in all, it is great to see fighters who want a lot of smoke. Another fighter I want to give some credit to for taking all the smoke is Chris Smith. He's one of my favourite fighters, right? I think because he's from my hometown. He was never, destined for greatness. He didn't have a crazy amateur record. People thought he would have a good career if he got to European level. He got to European level, then he got to world level, then he defended his belt a few times before losing to Ramirez. But I just love that he was active and that he wanted all the smoke, He fought Okoli, then he fought Masanak, then he fought Riakpo, then he fought, Zerdo Ramirez. He was active and he took hard fights. Like, you've got to admire someone who wants the smoke. And I'm getting a bit fed up with, like, the Devin Haney's, the Tanks, the Teofimo Lopez. Like, why are we seeing you once a year? You're a world champion. Come on, surely you can be fighting twice a year. I mean, I suppose Devin Haney took a fair bit of damage in his fight, so he would need some recovery times. But Teofimo Lopez's last fight was fairly easy. I don't think Tank took too much damage either. He got the knockout in the end. So, yeah, I do get frustrated sometimes when you see fighters fighting once a year. And activity helps you as a fighter as well. If you want to stay good, you've got to stay active. So sometimes if you're, like, questioning if there might be an upset, you look at, like, a champion who hasn't been very active and you think, yeah, you might lose here to, someone who's stayed active. Look how active Danny Dubois has been, 4 fights in, like, 14 months or something. Inoue, another guy who deserves a lot of credit for staying so active. Chris Smith. Even Beterbiev, like, he was really injured. He still fought twice this year. He fought Callum Smith earlier this year, and then he fought Bivol, after knee surgery, which is crazy. So, yeah, there was just a quick video giving a quick preview into Sonny Edwards versus Galal Yafai. I think maybe because it's at the smaller weights, I'm not sure how many of the casuals are going to get involved, but, if you're watching this and you're a casual boxing fan, make sure you tune in, because I think it's going to be fireworks. I think it'll be a really exciting fight. Stylistically, it should be great. 50-50, both guys want all the smoke. So, yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.